Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Happy, what is today? Tuesday? Happy Taco Tuesday to you. Taking a look here at SUI, seeing what's going on. Man, I couldn't make this up if I tried. This bearish rectangle played out perfect. While I was sleeping, when my alert went off to take a short at that $2 mark, the price continued a lot lower to this 187. So, shoo, good job. Congrats to everybody there. And just so you know, I'm not making that up if you're just now tuning in and you missed my analysis from yesterday. I posted this yesterday about 22 hours ago, expecting this to happen. Again, it's not a told you so, but all the signs are there. Regardless of us being in a nice bullish trend right now, there's a distinct possibility we could still continue upwards. We have to recognize that there were some signs letting us know the sell-off was going to happen. A lot of it hinges on Bitcoin pulling back too. Bitcoin did pull back pretty strong, but if you look at this liquidation, I mean, folks, there we go, 190. All that liquidation got swept. Keep in mind there is still a decent chunk between 150 and 170. So while that's a very low likelihood, it's still possible, okay? So just know anything could happen in this market, and SUI is not impervious, regardless of how awesome the fundamentals may or may not be. It's just one of those things that greed is a very real thing. This coin is overextended. It has a tremendous amount of profit left to be taken, and market makers are going to do that. It just at some point or another. So you cannot be blindly bullish on anything. You want to make sure you pay attention to the charts and see what's going on. So hopefully I can continue to help you with that. If you could please just hit the like button before we get started. Take a look here, of course, at SUI on the left-hand side. This is liquidation. We can see that big old chunk at 195, about $1 billion in liquidation. At about that 194, 193 mark, and then continued much lower down here. So we do have some late longs, of course, as per usual. Longs and shorts will do that. They'll jump in as soon as the price dips down just to buy the dip, which is a terrible idea, by the way, but it happens. And we can see a chunk of liquidation. You add the sell-off together, probably about 1.2, 1.3 billion, somewhere between now and 180. So not proposing we're going to see 180 because we have liquidation there. It's just something you need to be aware of. And we take a look here again, the macro, obviously 160 is that heavier concentration. We can see some 170s actually dissipate a little bit because when we looked at that previous playout chart, there was a chunk down there. But the truth is this number is getting lower and lower, which is good. It finally means that, this is crazy, the longs that were in profit are finally closing their position. Isn't that stupid? You wait till 190 to close your position when you could have been profitable at 230, 220. That is just insane to me. But either way, a lot of positions are closing and or liquidation events occurred. Either way, the likelihood of 170 I still think is pretty low. We have to break our ascending trend line first. Either way you look at it here too, when we look at our delta, this is fairly high. This does give us cause for consideration for long. Not because the delta is too far in one direction, but just the simple way to understand it is this is an overextension. When you see too many people leveraging in one direction, market makers will reverse it and destroy anyone who is a late short. So be careful being a late short at this point. That's kind of what that's telling us. And again, open interest tells us that a lot of people are heavy at 215 and or 212. So unfortunately, a lot of breakout traders bought that highest point, and the price broke down. And again, folks, when you come up to a resistance level, you wait for it to break first before you consider taking a trade. Exactly why when I try to teach this, you wait for the price to come back down to retest as a support. You don't just try to trade into it as a breakout. Okay, breakout traders are getting absolutely destroyed in the market right now because it's not a breakout trading kind of market. It was for a couple weeks. I'll give you that. SUI had a lot of breakouts, but now that it's retested its local high and broke below that high as a new resistance, that, as I mentioned previously, 217, 218, that's a significant area that we got to be mindful of. And there's a good chance we probably see the price continue lower, just overall here. But taking a look at the ascending trend here, let's quickly look at the moving averages and see. And this is not good, folks. This is exactly what I've been waiting for to have the conversation with you about. Kind of like when the father has to talk to their son about the birds and the bees, right? Well, folks, we can no longer be bullish, blindly bullish on SUI anymore because we're now under the 20-day SMA. And I'm sure you can roll your eyes or whatever you want in that regard. That's perfectly fine. But the truth is, when you break an ascending trend, that's probably the most important thing you can identify in understanding what your mindset should be. So I wouldn't say that we should have been blindly bullish prior to now, but if you were, you shouldn't be anymore. Because again, we've broken below that level. That doesn't necessarily imply the price is just going to drop. It just tells us that we're on the wrong side of tracks. And with this inverse pairing, or basically just say more of a significant correction to the downside pairing with Bitcoin. We're probably seeing a 3 to 4x of Bitcoin retracement for SUI right now. Why? Because it's massively overextended, way too much. There's not enough buying pressure. It's just everyone's trying to sell. The reason why that happens is just because, again, it's very overextended. But the whole point of me saying that is that, with that kind of pairing, what happens if Bitcoin runs towards 66,000, which is extremely likely? We have a symmetrical triangle here that is breaking down for Bitcoin, and the likelihood of this going lower is pretty high. Okay, so keep in mind, this is not a breakdown. This breakdown isn't going to happen because it's a pattern. The pattern exists because there's a lot of bearish qualities for Bitcoin right now. Okay, and just kind of driving that home, the same thing here as well with SUI. Well, again, I think we are a little over leveraged with shorts. There's too many shorts in the market, and we may not see the price come down much lower. If Bitcoin makes a run, I think SUI will too, though. There's no other way around it. Okay. So, having said that, if you look at the daily time frame, we've lost our ascending trend, at least for now, unless we can recover to $2 or higher at the end of today's trading day, which I think is very unlikely. Then we will see the price action possibly perform a bearish backtest. So a lot of times you'll see the price work its way back up and inevitably come back down because it can no longer break through that trend. So just some things to pay attention to. All right, let's look at the regular standard stuff here. We are testing 50 on the RSI, or soon to touch it rather. Money flow index, as I mentioned before, is below the price action. You never take a long into MFI under RSI, specifically on the macro. It doesn't make any sense. Again, the main reason why is because more money is flowing away from the coin, but people still think it's a good deal to buy right now. Isn't that crazy? You think 192 is a good deal. The reason why you think that is because the price has been in the $2 plus range for so long. Well, I got news for you. 2 or 3 weeks ago, the price was in the 130 to 140, possibly even, double digits, right? So you got to recognize that, a lot can change. Mindset is important, and try not to be another statistic here and fall for this kind of situation. MACD is diverging as well, and trend strength indicator is coming closer to 0. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for this here from some trolls in the SUI community, but the truth is SUI has got a really, really cool, mostly level-headed following. So I want to say thank you again for being a legitimately awesome person and not thinking that I'm like against you or anything, because the truth is the charts just tell us how it is, and that's how I'm going to tell you how it is, okay? So there's a lot of bearish signs here. We do got to recognize, though, we are overextended, right? We're hitting a 9 NTD sequential. So here's some good news. When the price action pulls back for this long, it will likely plateau and recover. Okay, we've seen it happen time and time again. Here's the last correction from SUI. We hit a 9 on TD sequential, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roughly one trading day later, the price recovered. I would not propose we're going to see something of this magnitude. I don't think we're going to see 240s again in the immediate future. I don't think that's possible. However, what is possible is the simple fact that majority of the time when this coin overextends itself, it'll turn itself around. Here's an example for the inverse. The price goes up, hits its top, comes back down because it's overextended. So this coin is really good about that. Now again, you got to keep in mind that was also a very significant bullish trend with a lot of folks kind of buying in. Right now, I'm willing to guess some people are gun shy because they're heavy at that 212, 215, which is effectively that area of open interest that we discussed. So again, a lot of things that are kind of factoring in here. If we look at the hourly time frame, we're going to get full-on confirmation. This is what gave me the indication of wanting to take a short, even though I slept through it. This happens all the time. We can see here, losing that 0.68 fib level was pretty significant. But the price actions, you can kind of see, here's what to pay attention to next time. You see this is a somewhat of a bearish quality. In fact, it's a very, very bearish quality when you essentially dump and you continue to retest the same low, followed by lower highs. And that's essentially what gives us that type of triangle pattern. So all the signs were there. We just had to give $2 a chance to hold. And honestly, we retested like 5 or 6, 7 times in a row. It really just didn't work out. The key takeaway here is that Ichimoku cloud is free and clear. The lagging span is rather. The price action is below the cloud. And of course, we got the lagging span, the conversion line baseline below. So these are just all bearish signs. Literally everything we've seen here so far is mostly bearish, minus the daily time frame, which has some neutral to bullish signs. But they're not bullish in the sense of the fact that the price is just like finding a recovery or its bottom. It's bullish in the sense that it's just uptrended so hard and so fast that you have to give it time to mature. Now that we've broken below that ascending trend line, we can legitimately consider a short position with confidence. Okay, I'm not telling you to take a short right now because it has ran, it needs to consolidate, but I do feel like Bitcoin's going to run to the downside here. I mean, we can see this symmetrical triangle playing out pretty nicely. So Anyways, just some food for thought. Hopefully this gives you some education and some knowledge on how to handle this yourself. If you want more knowledge, of course, I got a Trading University Academy community and signals group. I do share trade signals with my community. We have a Bitcoin short open at 67,400 right now. Our Tyke profit target, I think, is 66,050, if not mistaken. And again, that could correlate here as well, because you can see SUI breaking down equal to Bitcoin the last couple of hours. So be very, very careful taking along with SUI. I don't think it's worth it. I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, and we'll go ahead and go from there. I do want to say thanks again for your awesome support to the SUI community. If you want some awesome support with an exchange that works very well with no KYC or VPN requirements, link down below. Look no further. Awesome deposit bonus right now for them. Just use my link to register. Any future bonus that they offer, you'll be automatically eligible for. So it's nice every couple months they provide us with some new features. So cool stuff. All right, thanks again, folks. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.